There we are. Now we're live. See, there was a button I didn't push. I don't
Oh
remember ever having to
no.
hit that button before. I thought I just had to, it just started when the countdown clock. I am so sorry, you guys. Here we've been jabbering away. And Lisa, I hope you're still here in Miss C's cottage. Thank you, Miss C. If you hadn't put that content up, I would not have realized that we weren't actually live. I am still figuring this stuff up, let me tell you. And I appreciate all the help I get from everybody. I don't ever remember having to hit that button before. I just watch that clock and then boom, it just starts.
Well, that's so funny because I have it on my laptop right here and I'm looking at the chat, but I never even thought to look at the pictures.
Yeah, that is so weird.
So they didn't hear us talk about Gary's yarn that we don't want to use because we want to just cherish it.
Just start over again. Technology. Let me tell you guys, it's my people, my friends are just like, I can't believe you're doing this because you are the worst with technology. Hey, Crafting Adventures with Amy. Thanks for joining us. I just had a little snafu with going live and it's all on me. I didn't push the right button. So no surprise there.
Hi, Camper 14.
Hi, Camper 14. Thanks for joining us today.
So you were saying the first time that you met or that we ever connected was from when you won my 30,000 subscriber giveaway.
Yes. And I was so thrilled. I was so thrilled to win it. And it was the first time I'd ever won anything. And so to be able to win something as fun, and your giveaway was so amazing because it had everything. It had yarn, it had patterns, it had the little stuffed animal that I had sent to my grandson, and he adores it. He carries it around with him. And it was so sweet. When she sent that, she even sent the leftover yarn from when she made it. So I even got a little bit of yarn there too. And that was
I didn't even know that.
Thoughtful and kind of her to do that. And then patterns from different folks that it allowed me to connect with new people that I had not heard of before. And thankfully, and I'm going to get the name wrong, you'll know it. It's YOH. Is that right?
YOH Creations. Yeah, that's Anita that crocheted the stuffed animal.
Yeah. Elephant, right? And well, there's a lady who has a ton of doll clothes patterns.
And yeah, that's Pamela's Adoring Crochet.
Pamela, yes. And I don't crochet little stuff like that. But then when we got in there were several wearables, shawls and hats and things. And I was so excited. And a couple of like a duster almost. So excited to get those patterns. So and then of course your fabulous window
the yarn ball. Yeah, sun catcher.
Now I can put it up.
I haven't made those in a while. I have one. The one, the one that's in my window. I think I put it in the window up here, but it's downstairs.
Yeah, well, and now that I have a house, I can put that up. Where in the motorhome, I couldn't put it up. I was afraid it would fall and break. So now I can put that up in my yarn room if I ever get to.
There you go.
Room set up. So anyway, welcome, Lynette, and look at her working away. I can't do that. I can't crochet while I'm doing this. That I can. One thing at a time, my little brain. That's all I can handle.
It's half double crochet. I think I can handle it.
It's so funny. I was working on something last night that's a half double crochet, and I was doing it. And I thought, this doesn't seem right. And so I had to look it up. And sure enough, I was doing it completely wrong. And I'm like, it's the simplest thing. But I was making an extra loop. So instead of just going around and pulling through all three, I was going around, pull through, run, and then around and all through three. So I don't know what I was making.
You created your own stitch.
I did.
It's the roaming stitch.
It looked fine. And that's the thing with crochet. I think it's much more forgiving than knitting is. And so you do something like that. And as long as whatever you did wrong, you do it consistently wrong, you just got a different stitch in there. It's no big deal. So Lisa wants to know what you're working on, Lynette.
I am trying desperately to finish the Rwana that I'm making for a tutorial because people are waiting for it. And so I have like 17 or 18 more rows to go before I get finished with the whole, then the pockets have to go in and the border. So it's getting there because it's totally 126. This is the section I'm working on. Let's see, it goes this way.
Oh, pretty.
So I'm using the colors of the Ohio State Buckeyes, Ohio State,
Oh,
football team, but it will be 126 rows, 126 rows, 42 different colored sections along the way. And it goes on like, so it's basically, it's a big, huge blanket with a neck hole. And then I opted to put, this is the pocket hole. And there's pocket on each side. So when it's done, it'll have pockets. And I think on this one, I'm only going to do one row of border, which is what I did on my husband's. And you can even put a hood on it if you wanted to. And it would be, fine. But it's like wearing a big blanket and it stays on because it's, it's just so big. And it's comfy. And I like it for around the campfire. That's what I originally designed it for, was to wear around the campfire. But we wore it all winter long. It was so cold this winter. And my husband was wearing his all winter. And I think he wants to claim this one because it's on the same color.
Yeah, with those colors.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I did not know it was going to have pockets. I love pockets.
I mean, shouldn't everything have pockets?
Well, especially anymore with our cell phones and you're outside, and I don't know about you, but I always need to have a tissue with me and some chapstick. I'm always putting chapstick on. So
yeah. And so everything always has to have a pocket. Wedding dresses come with pockets now.
Yes, as they should.
Madonna, right?
Yep. No, that's beautiful. Beautiful colors.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's easily adaptable to any color grouping that you want or anything, or even
solid. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, solid color or what are they called? The cakes that change colors as you go. The
that's mandala. My husband's. His is. I made his out of not DK color sweet rolls.
Oh, I love the sweet rolls. They are so pretty. I actually have never worked with them. In fact, I don't think I even, of all the bazillion yarns I have, I've never ended up with a sweet roll. And every time I see them, I think, oh, I need to get some of those. That's so pretty. So with the sweet roll, do you remember where the color change is very dramatic or are they more subtle?
They're dramatic.
Okay. That's something that bothers my brain. I just can't get past that. Hey, Crafty Critter, thank you for joining us.
It was, my husband doesn't care.
Yeah, and some people don't.
And he definitely does not care. And if I was making it for someone other than my husband, I would have color controlled it. But it wasn't extremely noticeable because the rows aren't that long. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some of it has short rows because it's just covering your back. So it wasn't too bad, but I just went, I can't even remember how many I used, maybe 6. And then, you know what I did? I had 5 or 6 sweet rolls in the color that I used, which I can't remember what it is, but it's green and navy blue and gray.
Oh, pretty.
Whatever that colorway is. And I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough. So I did solid gray in the back for the back section. Because when you're sitting, you can't see that anyway. And I just needed to fill it in for a little bit.
Yep.
So you probably would need 6 or 7 sweet rolls to do it. And if you color controlled it, then maybe more. But, then when I did my own, I did it with Nan's Luck of the Draw. And that's the stitch that this is Nan's Luck of the Draw stitch pattern.
Oh, so is this your Luck of the Draw stitch for this year? No, you're doing hexagons this time.
Yeah. Right? Which I'm 5 weeks behind on. So
you're ahead of me. I'm on, I think I either did week 5 or 6, and that was it. That's the last time I've touched it. As soon as we started moving, I went on my days off to visiting my daughter, and I even took my base color with me. I thought, I'm just going to get caught up on these, and then when I get back, I'll do my colors. haven't touched anything. And you know how many blankets in the works I got going. And I haven't touched a single one since we've been on the road. And I have made a few projects, but it's like I did that hat for Connie
here.
Hey Madonna, hi, thanks for joining us.
Hey.
I did that hat for Connie and a couple small things, but you know, with the moving and unpacking and cleaning, and it's just been insane. I'm not getting any crocheting done. In fact, I just yesterday brought in my projects out of the RV. So now they're at least, I've got it's a coffee table that opens up and it's got storage inside. So I put my projects in the works in each individual bag in that. So they're right here handy in the living room. So at least I know where they are. So that's a step in the right.
That's good, right?
That's about as close as I'm going to get right now.
I can understand that. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel overwhelmed with the Ruana. And it's not that it's a hard thing or that it's even really all that time consuming. And this section shouldn't take me long because I don't have to stop to film and like figure that stuff. So I don't know. It's just taking me longer than I thought it was going to take. And
you've got a lot of pressure on you from everybody going, when's it going to be ready? When's it going to be ready? I remember back a day, Crystal one time or multiple times has said she won't put anything up on her little mannequin in the back anymore until she's got it filmed and ready to go, because she'll get 100 million people going, I want that pattern. I want that pattern. And she says the stress is too much for her. So she won't even show it or talk about it until she's ready to post it. And I can understand that.
I can understand that from her. I mean, she's got a lot more subscribers. My people have been, they've been real patient, but they are excited. I've had a lot of people tell me how excited they are to make it. So and that keeps me wanting to do it. Okay, people actually do want to make it. So get this thing filmed. But I had to do at least 1 or 2 amigurumis last month because I was host. And then we were on vacation, and I didn't crochet as much as I thought I was going to get to crochet while we were on vacation. I took all these projects that I knew I was just going to get done, and I didn't.
Yep.
And I was really grateful that I had the Crochet Calendar project for last month done, because before vacation, I started that early. I started that at the end of whatever month is before April.
That would be March.
Yeah, that would be March, because one of my subscribers was having trouble, and she says, hey, can you help me with this? I'm like, I don't know, I could try. I was hoping I wouldn't need too much help with it myself. And thank God I had done the curtains that I made for my kitchen, and I kind of had an idea because I'd already done that kind of pattern before, or else I would have been totally lost. And this month's crochet calendar is also little flower motifs to make a bag, but I'm making placemats. I'm going to make for the camper.
That'll be pretty.
Yeah, I started just to practice. I'll show you. And after I started, I thought, oh, I'm not going to do these colors. I was just going to go, like my curtains are all multiple colors, just grab a color and go. And I thought I would do that because I have a lot of the yarn left over from this just curtain. But wait, I'm not. Oh, there we go.
I know. I do that.
Yeah.
Where's the camera?
So this is what the first one starts, and then you join as you go when you make more of them. So I started the second one just because I wanted to get a feel for the pattern. And oops, this way. So, but I finished the whole thing before I read enough of the pattern to say, oh wait, you're supposed to go 2. I thought it was the next row the way it originally read, but it's not. I just did it wrong. But that's okay. And when I was putting them together, I decided I'm just going to go with purples and grays and a white, because that's what I use in the camper for. The camper colors are neutral and gray. They're like silver, gray, tan, whatever.
And beige, yeah.
Yeah. So
like all of them.
Yeah. So I accent it in purple because that's my favorite color, So I thought, I'm just going to do that. So that's okay. I don't think it'll take that long to make a couple of pot holders. Once I get the pattern down, then I can take it to work and do that as my work crochet project.
Yeah, it'll be real pretty. That'll look real pretty. So, how did you, when you first got started, how did you decide? Why did you decide to do a YouTube channel?
Because I'm the only one I know that crochets.
Yep.
And I'm watching these people on YouTube and I'm following tutorials and they're having so much fun. And like, you watch Bag O' Day and she's buying this yarn. You see somebody else with a yarn haul. Like I go to the store and I'm like, well, I bought this really pretty yarn. And like, nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Not only don't they care, they don't want to hear about it.
Right. Like, don't you think you have enough yarn? What do you mean you bought more yarn?
As if.
Right. Yeah, they don't get it. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do a YouTube channel and hopefully people will watch and share my my passion with the yarn. And lo and behold, people watch. And I've made a lot of friends.
Really good friends. And friends, it's like, just like you were saying, somebody contacted you the other day because she's having problems with that pattern. I've done the same thing with people. And not only just the patterns, I'm like, I'm trying to do this live and I can't figure out how to, and somebody will jump in and tell me what I'm doing wrong. And every time I ask a question on here, somebody jumps in and sends me a message and tells me the best way to fix it. And it's phenomenal. It doesn't take the place of what I used to think of as, a sewing circle or a quilting bee where a bunch of ladies would just get together with their projects and chit chat, because there's nothing that can ever replace that. But
right,
it gives you that same feel. It gives you that same feel of camaraderie with something that we love.
That's why I go to Zoom all the time, because in the Zoom group, we've all become such close friends, and then we lost our Sharon this past week, and it's been devastating for us. Sharon, we raised money for her wheelchair and she started the Zoom room. My understanding is 4 years ago. She started it. And so there are women that have been going in there for 4 years and they're, very close, good friends. And even though no one ever met in person until October when we went to Florida, those of us that could go. And like, that is a time that we cherish. Like, it's like meeting your best friend for the first time ever, and we had such a great time. And none of us will, I think, ever want to leave our Zoom group. And we invite everybody, anybody can go.
Well, and I have popped in and felt very, very welcome. I just popped in one day and I want to say it was Super Bowl Sunday, but I could be completely wrong. And I popped in and I visited for an hour or so, and I have every intention of coming back. You know how it is. There's just
there's always somebody there that's going to help you. But the whole yarn community is so giving and charitable and helpful and amazing. You just can't find better people, I don't think, because everybody wants to help each other, and build each other up. And like, I never thought that I would do my own designs. Like, I know. I would have never, if I was trying to do this on my own, I would probably still be just making a chain stitch. I mean, that's the truth. Madonna, one of my biggest cheerleaders, man, she's helped me so many times. Her and Trisha, Mama Swift, they taught me to read a pattern. We went on a live and they spent 4 hours teaching me to read a pattern. They're like, they're like, frog it. Do
it over. Do it again. I know everybody hates frogging, but even though it's miserable and it sets you back however many days, if you don't fix it, if it's a big mistake and you don't fix it, it's going to haunt you every time you see that item, every time. Exactly. And I've gone both ways. Sometimes I've left it especially if it's just some little thing that I'm going to wear. That first hat that I knit, it's the most horrendous thing. And it is one big mistake. But guess what? I finished a knit hat and I wear that sucker all the time. I'm the only one that knows that all that stuff that's in there were massive mistakes.
Right.
I'm the only one that knows it. So, and it's warm. It's a nice, warm, bright pink. And I use bright pink because I don't like pink. And I figured if I hate this thing and it ends up in the garbage, it's going to be fine. But I wear that thing proudly. It's so horrible.
See you, Camper 14.
Thank you.
Your favorite 4 hours, Madonna. Telling me to rip it out all the time.
Hi, Lisa. Yes, you're 100% right. I'll get some new yarn and I'm just like, look. And my friends are like, it looks just like all the other yarn you have. I'm like, no. See how this one's different and this one is chain spun and this is, and they're like, all
right.
Never mind, go away.
Yep. I get it because that's the same thing. Yeah. And my daughter has started to crochet, but she doesn't get much time to do it. Mm-hmm. And she still thinks that I'm a yarn hoarder and I have way too much yarn. But when she wants to go shopping.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Hook by Nanine, welcome in. So no, you're exactly right. I had a couple of people here the other day and they're like giving me a bad time because I still had some boxes of yarn here that I hadn't even unboxed yet. And they're like, oh my God, all this yarn. And so I said, look at this real pretty one that I just got. Oh, that's beautiful. Will you make me, So, yeah. And I'll tell you what, normally I would be like, yeah, sure. And this time I'm like, no, not with this yarn. This one's for me. It's so pretty. I think it's called watercolor. No, it's called finger paint. And it's from, I don't even remember, but it's glorious. It's the most beautiful mix of fall colors. It's just an explosion of fall.
Really? I must have missed that one because I've been trying to catch as many of your unboxings as I can.
I probably haven't posted it yet. What I finally did one day, I sat down here one day. You guys, is Mr. gone? While I was on the road, I had a few boxes sent here. And when you're ordering yarn and it doesn't show up in your hot little hands, it doesn't exist, right?
Right.
So I got home and I had 65 boxes to open.
I was so jealous. I'm like, I want to walk into a house full of boxes of mystery yarn because that's what it is now. Since there's no way you can remember.
I don't remember. Or every once in a while, I go, oh yeah, I remember that. And and it was like Afghan of the month things, and so you don't even know what those are until you open them. And so it was like, it's like Christmas every day. Well, finally one day I was
let me interrupt that. Yes. Mary Maxim's doing their kits this month. $5. You only pay the shipping. No. Yeah, introductory kind of offer thing. You only
even if you already subscribe.
You have to subscribe. I think.
Yeah, I already get. I get the crochet of the month. I think they've got a knit one that I always wanted to try but haven't. I'll have to check into that.
Yeah, thanks, you're only paying the shipping.
Thanks a lot.
Just because you needed more yarn, I know.
I do need more yarn. I do.
No, but it's I was debating on getting the second one. I get the quarterly one. I ordered that one because you're getting $30 worth of yarn and the pattern and whatever for $5. But then they have the you get a different project every month.
They've got a crochet of the month one, which is my favorite. They're a crochet of the month, and I don't get a lot of subscriptions. I do Annie's, I do that one, the Mary Maxim. I did Hirschner's. I was very sad because I love Hirschner's. I love them. And I signed up the first month they didn't. This is like probably the fourth month now. And the first month I'm like, And the second month I was like, And the third month I'm like, But in fact, I have the third month sitting here and I'm using it for something entirely different, which is what I usually do. But it's called the Quick to Stitch Club. Where's my thing? And it was this very, very bright baby blanket, which, I mean, it's very nice. But what I have found is, you get these and to me, maybe I'm wrong, but the idea is you're getting some extra value for being a subscription member. And what I find with theirs is the cost of the yarn is sometimes less than the subscription. And yeah, it was either exactly the same as the subscription or maybe a couple of bucks less. And I never put a value on these patterns because, you can find a blanket pattern anywhere. And so I didn't see the value in theirs. Now, other people may find and I love having a subscription where they're pairing the yarn to the pattern. So I don't have to figure out what yarn to use. I don't have to figure out what colors to use. And I don't have to try to find this yarn and then pay exorbitant shipping on top of it. So there's a little value. I mean, that value is definitely there, but the yarn value, I found it wasn't there on the Hirschners. And so after, I think the third month, I stopped that one.
Well, I've tried some of the Annie's kits I bought, and they're expensive.
They're very expensive.
And
so
they're
all the month ones. Again, same thing. The value's not there.
I have the mandala. I did get the first mandala, and I'm going to get the second mandala. But then after that, I'm waiting for it to come so I can cancel it. I just wanted enough of it so that maybe I can
figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out and do
and you know what I did? On Hirschner's, I found a mandala blanket that was very, very similar to that one. And I just bought the kit for $35. And I'm like, I've got all the yarn, I've got all the instructions, and it's going to give me the same
result.
Yeah. Yeah. And then with the Annie's kits, your value is being able to go online and look at the video. But for some reason, the one video I need to go and look at, I can't access. And I have tried and I've called customer service and they're like, we don't show you as having a subscription. I'm like, really? Because it's right here in my hand. And I've got subscription to all three of these. They will not give me access to that. To the other ones, they will, but not to that one. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. You'll give me access to 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, but not 1 and 2. Okay. So anyway, but I haven't gotten back to it.
Subscription out the window, right?
Somebody will have it somewhere. But yeah, so
Megan, Zoom, maybe somebody can help you with the pattern.
Yeah, that's it. I'll just zoom in there and somebody will figure it out for me. Hey, babe. My puppy
because we've got some really good ones, like Madonna. Is she still here?
She is. Yep, we do love the kits. We love the kits. And the other thing with the kit, I always do a swatch because I'm afraid I'm going to run out of yarn. And I
wouldn't have thought of that because like a blanket, I wouldn't swatch a blanket. It would just be
never would swatch a blanket unless I buy it out of a kit because I find the kit blankets run. The blankets themselves are small.
Yeah.
And, I want a blanket. And so instead of blankets, they're throws. So I have to think of it like that. Anything, but when I buy a pattern for a blanket and it's 34 by 39, that's not a blanket. That's barely a baby blanket.
Right.
So yeah, I have to go with those and swatch them out.
Well, I bought the Persian tile kit from Mary Maxim, which I haven't started yet, but that yarn, I mean, you can just buy more yarn, You
can.
It's not like the Annie's ones where they have like special colors and stuff.
Yeah, they're special. And even if it's called the same thing, they're changing the names. Hey, Becoming Me, thanks for joining us. Even if they're calling it the same, you just can't get more. And they charge an exorbitant amount of money if you need. It's like $15 for 2 tiny little skeins.
That's right.
It is absolutely ridiculous. But so
I heard you talk about that.
I love it with Annie's. And I'm not doing any of their crochet of the month stuff anymore. And they've got 8 or 10. Oh my gosh, I think they have probably 20 different things you can subscribe to. And I just find them all to be overpriced. So I'm going to finish up these 2 blankets that I'm doing. And then I'm done with Annie's. So the the moral to this story is Lynette is telling us that Mary Maxim is having a special. Is it a May special or just like right
I think
now?
it's for the whole month of May.
Okay, where you can get one of their subscription items for just the cost of the shipping, which their flat rate shipping is $5, $4.99, $5.99, something like that. It's very good.
$5. I paid $5.
And so if you can get a blanket pattern, a crocheted blanket or a knit blanket for $5, are you kidding me? You can't even buy a pattern for that much. So
I was tempted to buy the knit pattern just to get the yarn.
Yarn. Yeah.
Because I don't knit.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just barely learning to knit, but I've got that whole Annie's knit thing coming. So I'm not gonna do any more knit blankets until I get a couple things. But yeah, I'm totally gonna go in there and probably buy one of the knit ones because I already get the crocheted Afghan and the crochet of the month. I wonder if you could do more than one. Could I do the knit of the month and the knit Afghan?
I don't know.
We're going to find out, and we will report back.
I think that you can because I ordered the one, and then I was talking with Anita from Yarn Over Hook, YOH, because she's the one that told me, and so I went to try to order another one, and it came up. Now I had gotten an email because if you don't get the emails from those places, you guys are missing out. First of all,
yeah.
But I had to click on the email to, and it let me pull it up to get the $5, and it said, add to cart $5. I didn't order it because I don't know why I didn't. I think because I have so many things that I haven't finished already.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. And then the Purple Yarnivore and Cynthia, Joyful Creations, are doing a new collaboration starting today where they're picking kind of a small designer, and each of them are doing one of their, I'm messing this up. So this month, and I love Glinda, the Yarny Owl, Crafty Owl.
Darla,
the Crafty Owl. So they picked a Darla, and each of them
has really good patterns.
Love her stuff. And each one of them are Cynthia and Trish each picked a pattern. So it's kind of a pattern war type thing. And so it's a crochet along, and you can pick one or the other. Or of course, I'm going to try and do both. And so I loved one of the patterns. It was a shawl. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that one first. And it's this beautiful twinkle yarn that you can't get anymore because it's the wrong time of year from Joann's. So I'm like, I've got twinkle yarn here. I know I do. Who knows where? So in my little brain, I have to go to the yarn store and buy twinkle yarn to make this pattern. And that's how I end up with 9 million skeins of yarn right there.
I am still working on my luck of the draw. I just am behind on it. Somebody Hooked by Deneen has asked. I am still working on it, and I am also working on Jada's and Stitch's Tunisian. Lisa, are you doing Jada's Tunisian? I'm enjoying that very much. I'm just making washcloths because I have a problem with samplers where my stuff never is the same size. Yeah. But I'm really enjoying the Tunisian. Lisa was saying that she was going to try to work on her Tunisian tonight. So, I just watched a Bag O' Day yarn haul. She's such an enabler. I love her to death, but I have to stay away from her videos sometimes because it's killing me not to go to Hobium. That alpaca with the sparkle in it that she just unboxed. Did you see that?
I did not. I've been avoiding her unboxings.
Well, that's the same thing, but I get up for work at 2:15 in the morning and I have to have something to do. So she's like, these like humongous 3 boxes. I don't know. Yeah, I think she might have just put it on.
I just saw it and I'm like, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well,
I just ordered the Hobie mystery bag because of her.
Oh, I did too. I put that
the Kramer mystery bag because of her. And I'll tell you what, you guys haven't seen this video yet, but I'm so angry. And I love their yarn. I love it.
From Kramer or Hobie?
The Kramer yarn, because it's right here. It's in Pennsylvania. And their mystery boxes are very hard to get a hold of. And I got one about a year and a half ago. And then I got another one the other day. And when I opened it, I almost threw up. It smelled so horrible. It smells horrible. I have this yarn spread out all over my house, all over outside, trying to air this stuff out. I've contacted them and they said, oh, well, that's just the way some fibers are. And I'm like, no, I have a house full of yarn and never once have I had anything smell like this. It smells like somebody threw up in the box. It is,
Oh my gosh.
it's rancid. And I think I've got it figured out which of the yarns it is that smells so bad. And it's beautiful yarn. And I'm like, okay. And I've got it all laid out and I'm turning it. And I've got bags of baking soda in there. And I added a bag of lavender yesterday thinking maybe that'll help. And I
Did you put some dryer sheets?
And I'm going to put it in those lingerie bags and just run it fluff dry with some of those lavender dryer sheets. But I'm just like, you shouldn't have to go through this on what is considered extremely expensive yarn.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. But I did, Deneen. I contacted them and she just said, oh, well, that's just the way some yarns smell. And I'm like, no.
Oh, I'm holding out for Hobby Lobby clearance too. I brought two. I actually bought 3 of the mystery bags from Hobby. I bought 2 of the cake and 1 of the acrylic. Mm-hmm. The acrylic hasn't shown up, and it says that my order has been shipped and delivered. But I know I paid because I threw the acrylic one in there and I bought a bag to put it up over the $100. Mm-hmm. And so I would get free shipping. And I got free shipping, but I did not get all of my yarn.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little upset about that. And when I won, but they're checking into it. Okay. And when I won I won from Yarn Bingo there. Have you ever? I can't
believe you won that.
I know, that was so exciting. But the yarn came and it has to be from the shipping companies. It was either FedEx or their drop shipper. Somebody destroyed that yarn.
And it was just destroyed, I remember.
Oh, that was so heartbreaking. Because I was going to give that yarn away. I can't now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not yarn I can use. It was beautiful yarn and really nice, and you could put those colors together and make something. But it was bothering me. The animal fibers in it were bothering me. So I was going to give that yarn away. And when I knew it was coming and had animal fibers, that was my thought. If I would definitely put it in a giveaway, but I couldn't. There was no way.
So are they replacing that or are they working on it?
They've never responded.
Are you kidding?
I sent an email to the woman that was in charge of getting me the yarn, and I've gotten no response from her. I don't know. I should probably just contact customer service.
Yeah, maybe.
But, I just figured I would contact the person, and then I just went on vacation, and
yeah,
I haven't really messed with it after that.
Past you. Surprisingly, out of all these boxes I opened, I only had 2 tiny problems and one kind of significant. It was almost, and I'm wondering, after I've contacted them, now I'm wondering if it wasn't a second box that didn't get here, because it was like this and 3 of these and a blanket kit wasn't included. Now it was a big order. But, now I'm calling them and say, hey, this order that you guys shipped me last November, I got stuff missing out of it. And they're like, yeah, right, lady. But
yeah,
exactly. And thankfully, I ordered enough from that company, and it was Hirschner's, and I order a lot from Hirschner's, and so they could tell. And I told them, I says, I am banking on the fact that you can see that I'm a very good customer and I've never had a problem with your products before. And so what they made me do, and I thought, okay, this is smart, because I told her I just opened this box and blah, blah, blah. These things were not there. And she said, send us a picture of the box. And I'm like, oh, now that makes sense because I told you I just opened something that I got months ago. So here's the box. And they're like, okay, no problem. And they sent out the stuff that was missing. And then,
that's awesome.
Yeah, their customer service I find very, very good. Them and Mary Maxim, their customer service is very good to work with. I fight with Annie's every time I have to call them for something. It's a battle.
Really?
Yeah,
that's not good. That's
but yeah. Bingo. Oh, so the Hobie Bingo. They send me a reminder because I would never remember. And then all of a sudden it'll pop up, time for Hobie Bingo. And the trick is you don't have to sit there and watch the whole thing. You have to open it, leave it open for a couple of minutes, and then go along your very merry way. And if you win, they'll send you an email. And if you don't win, they send you 100 points every week. And so sometimes
you get the 100 points even if you win. And just so you know. Even if you win, you get the 100 points.
Nice.
And, my husband and I were shopping, and we were at Menards.
Yeah. I was at Home Depot last week, and it was kind of playing in the background. But
when I won, I was I was shopping. The week I won, I was at the store.
Nice.
And I'm trying to watch, and my husband's like, "Are you shopping? Or are you on your phone?" I'm like, "I'm a
woman. I can do multiple things."
Yeah, I can multitask. And I'm like, but I think I won. And he's like, what? And then we got to a dead spot or something. And I'm like, I think I won, but I'm not 100% sure because I lost the connection, And then it comes back and it says Lynette S. And I'm like, well, how many Lynettes can there possibly be in there? Yeah. Well, there were 8,000 people playing that day.
Well, I know. And that's why I was so shocked that you won. And I heard the other day of somebody else that won. I'm like, wow, of all the people that go in there. Hey, Susan, thanks for popping in. Yeah, of all the people that pop in there that are to play that every week, and then to have 2 people that I'm aware of, I say no, but so yeah, that's a cool feature that they have. I really like that.
So you think Premier shrunk their skeins at Dollar Tree? I was thinking that too. I just bought some, and I thought, didn't they used to have 132 yards, and now they have 109? So
that's a big difference.
Yeah, but you're still and you're paying $1.25 now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so, it was Deneen. You're the other one that won, and you won the same day as Lynette. That just
did you? No, I didn't call them Deneen. Really, they sent Chris. Maybe I need to call them. But I felt bad because it's kind of like you won this, so
you won it. Yeah,
don't complain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I understand that. Oh my gosh. We are just having a fun time chatting away here.
I'm changing color on my yarn. Sorry.
That's okay.
And trying to read the chat at the same time. Yeah, I didn't. So what did you win? I love Hobby Bingo. It's cool. I mean, you get to see the yarns and
then they give you a reduced price.
Yeah, they do on some of the stuff that they some of the stuff that they're giving away that day. Specific colors and stuff, which is awesome because who doesn't like? I don't buy yarn that's not on sale. If it's not on sale, I'm not buying.
Exactly. Yeah, I just order in there, and I got one of their mystery bags. And you know what I did? I did the same thing. I added something, and it was kind of expensive, but I've been wanting it for a long time. And it's that the stand. So you can keep your pattern there and your notes, and it's got the magnets and everything. I did order that to put me over the 100 for the free shipping. And I'm actually real excited for that to come. So yeah, she said it went from 131 to 104 yards, and the cotton is only 87 yards. Wow. I've never seen yarn at, is it Dollar Tree?
Dollar Tree, yeah.
I don't have some. I don't know if we have Dollar Tree or. You got a $30 gift card. Nice. Oh, you didn't know it was the full card. Wow, that's nice. That is nice.
Let me see. I have some right. Well, that wasn't good.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sure we have Dollar Trees. So I must be going to a different type of dollar store, or else we just don't get the yarn.
Yeah, not all of them get some, but I have some right
I've
here.
never
I'll show
seen
you.
the yarn at one of ours.
Right. I have all this yarn. The only yarn that I have up in this room is a basket of Dollar Tree yarn.
That's funny.
So this is their like just yarn. Oh, backwards again. And it's nice. And I bought this because I wanted to make jeans for my granddaughter's doll. And you know, it's like
that's perfect for that.
Yeah. And this one is 120 yards. So I got this prior to the reduced.
Yeah.
And
if you're doing things where you only need little bits of yarn, I could see that would be, because there have been many times I've had to buy a whole skein, 300 yards of something, and I needed 20 yards. And while it's nice to have the yarn, sometimes it's nice just to get the little bit that you need. That's pretty. That's nice looking yarn too.
It's just I'm gonna say it's just like sugar and cream.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little softer than sugar and cream, actually.
That stuff hurts my hands, but I still use it.
There's
two of them. There's sugar and cream, and there's peaches and cream. The sugar and cream doesn't bother me as much as the peaches and cream. And I think Walmart only carries peaches and cream. And when we were in Texas, that's the only place I could buy yarn was at Walmart. And I'm doing kind of like you. I am doing, in theory, what's her name? Crazy Poppy Lady is doing Stitch of the Week. And they're making squares that they're going to turn into a sampler blanket, which I refuse to do a sampler blanket for that very reason. And I'm glad, because my squares are turning out, one's 5 inches wide, one's 7 inches wide.
And so I just don't want to swatch it every week. And it's just, there's
no way I'm doing that to do a square. And
this blanket up here, can you see the little bit of this one that you can see? That was supposed to be a sampler blanket. And every week I was spending more time trying to get the sizing right than I was spending making the square.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I did that many squares and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so it just, it was.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Yeah. I avoid the squares. And I've even done a couple of, started a couple crochet alongs where it was a mystery square of the month, and I had the same problem. And it's like the sizing, and I'm like, I'm just not doing it. It's too much of a struggle. Yes, I enjoy your little block, but I'm just not doing it. I'm not going to do anything like that anymore.
With the Tunisian with Jada, I'm just making washcloths or pot holders out of them.
Yeah.
So I'm just using the kitchen cotton, and I got yarn bars.
Yep, I'm doing the same. I'm doing the exact same thing with the Poppy Ladies, and it was so funny because she's from the UK, and I don't remember where. I know she has said it, but I don't remember where. And she has said, when I told her I was making the washcloth, she goes, "Oh, that'll be such a treat for us. We don't make washcloths over here out of yarn." And I'm like, "Really?" Because I thought like it was sort of a basic thing. She goes, "No, you almost never see hand done washcloths like that." So she said her audience is really enjoying seeing the washcloths.
Huh.
Like, so
well, that's interesting.
Yeah, but so that's what I'm doing with mine. And again, 1st of March is the thing is I was even really excited to do that next one, and I just haven't gotten to it. But eventually I'll get caught up with everything. Ha 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 ha, she says, as we see her pile of whips grow and grow.
Yeah. And then I'm doing, the Judy with Witch Piece Craft. I wanted to, participate with her in her crochet along, and so I was just going to do a square every month and make a blanket out of my own squares, so it's the same square every month.
Right.
I didn't like the way it was looking, so I took it apart. Now I wanted to do hats and scarves for wings, and I wanted to do it on my Centro, which I can't figure out how to use that darn thing.
I haven't even opened mine yet.
I can't figure it out. We're gonna have to like zoom it together and zoom in.
What we need to do is zoom in with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, well,
maybe we can. Who?
Gina, the crafty grandma, she has a Centro, And so I got to pick her brain to figure out what the heck I'm doing wrong. And she knows how to knit, which I'm thinking might be part of my problem because I don't know how to knit.
Yeah. No, they're
I know,
completely.
Donna, it's that K word. I'm really sorry. But, I thought, you see, and I know Crystal Abegode has the Addie, but like she whips out a million hats. Just I thought, I could do a couple hours, maybe hour and a half. You can make a hat and a scarf. Just particularly if you get the drill piece.
Yeah.
Or
Which
you
scares
get
me.
the
I don't want
husband
to break my machine with that thing because I've seen people overheat their machines and melt that. Yeah,
Wow.
it has to have airflow. Hey, Angela, thanks for popping in. I really appreciate it.
Well, hi, Angela.
So I know there's several people out there, and I'm on a couple Facebook groups where they use those knitting machines, and almost to a person, it's like, you couldn't crochet perfectly when you started. You couldn't knit perfectly when you started. Don't expect to use this perfectly when you start. It's going to take some time. And not
Really?
only are you fighting the machine, you're fighting the yarn because the machines don't like every yarn. And sometimes it doesn't like every color of the same yarn. And so, that's a battle as well with those machines. They're very, very finicky for something as basic as they are. So, okay, Lisa's got, you're still learning how to use them. So I was able to get not the Centro, the other one,
The
what is
Addie?
it? Yes.
The Addie?
I got
That
the
was
Addie big one. I hit a 50% off sale is the only reason I bought it. And so unbeknownst to him, Mr. bought it for me for Christmas last year. And he'll be like, no, it's still sitting in the box. It's like the only thing I haven't actually taken out of the box because I know the second I open it, that's going to be what I want to focus on. And I got too many other things going right now. I don't have the time to sit down and learn. And so I just want to keep it in the box until I've got a full afternoon where I can do nothing but play with that thing. And I'm going to get frustrated. And yeah. So.
Well, that's the thing. I really thought that I could just whip these the way Crystal talked. It was like, oh yeah, you just whip it right up. It's not a big deal. And I think, her youngest daughter can do it. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I can't figure this darn thing out. I can't figure it
out. They've got it figured out. And I think, there's multiple YouTube videos and there's multiple Facebook groups. But I don't know about you guys. I used to be, give me the instructions. I'll read it. I'll figure it out. I'm done. And now you got to show me. I can read instructions. And it's
same here.
I have to
I get overwhelmed by step 2. I'm like, huh?
And I'll look at, too many words. Move on.
I'm getting to be that way too. And technology, I used to be really good. And now I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to change the font on my computer. I have to call my grandkids.
Right.
So I wanted to make slideshows so I could put the amigurumis and, the calendar stuff. I had to ask my 10-year-old granddaughter how to do that. And she's like, oh, Grammy, it's so easy. You just do this and this and this. And I'm like, that is easy. You think I could do that? She's showing me on her iPad with the software that she has. I said, do you think it'll work on my software that I have? And I pulled it up on my phone and she's like, yeah, Grammy, just hit this button. I'm like, oh. And she told me how to take the like if you go into Walmart and you want to tape you want to video their yarn aisle and you get all the background noise and the music and all that. She showed me, you just hit this button to take the noise out. I'm like, and then you can talk over it. And she showed me how to hit that button and talk over it. I
need to borrow her. Because here's my problem. Between us, we've got 12 grands and great grands. Not a one of them is techno or computer savvy. Not a one of them. And I'm like, although a couple years ago, he was probably 9-ish. He's the one that got me started doing YouTubes. Only because he came out and said, Grandma, look at my YouTube video. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you can do this, I can do this. And that's how I got started on YouTube, because I was trying to do a vlog and I couldn't do it. I could not figure it out. I spent 3 days trying to post one picture and I'm like, done, not doing it.
I get it.
So, but that was that extent of, and then the other day, my other 6-year-old grandson showed me how to make a short. And so he's most likely the one that I could get this, but his mom, she doesn't like them doing computer stuff. So it's very limited what they know. So I need to borrow.
Grandma would be a whole different ballpark than just playing on it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah. Oh, my son was just so proud. I mean, I was too, that she knew how to do it. But she's been playing with that kind of stuff just in play. And she's like, oh, and if you do this, then you can write on it. And if you do this, you can do that, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wait, that's way too much.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what I just want to know how you put
one thing per week.
Yeah. One thing per visit. Don't overwhelm me. My brain doesn't work that well anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like awesome. On these lives, I see people and they'll bring up a video and they'll show a video, or they'll bring up a game like to play bingo. And I'm like, I got to figure out how to do that. And I know it's just a matter of pushing the right button. I can't do it. I can't figure it out.
I know, back when computers were new and I was still young, you were always afraid to touch the wrong button because you could screw up your whole computer. But that's not so much the case anymore.
Not so much.
But in my psyche, it's like, oh, don't touch that button. You don't know what that does. You might just wipe out your whole computer. Don't touch that one. Don't touch that one. Not until somebody shows you that it's safe to touch that one. Don't touch that one. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think that's part of my problem. She's not afraid to play with it, and I'm afraid to play with it, that I'm going to screw everything up.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And those of us who have lost a video that we spent 3 days working on because we hit the wrong button. Yeah.
Well, just on any electron, computer stuff, not just my videos, but on any of it, it's still that way for me. And so after she said, Grammy, just hit this button, just hit that button, then I'm like, I shouldn't be so afraid. If she can do it and not ruin anything, I could probably click some buttons and not ruin stuff either, make a fake video just to play with.
Yeah. And that's what we need to do, is just make a fake video and play with it. Somebody asked, they wanted to see, Deneen would like to see your luck of the draw pattern. You don't have that up with you, do you?
I don't have it up here. Yeah. I'm sorry.
What she's working on is her Ruana, and she's using an old luck of the draw pattern, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
It's so if you follow Nan's Next Knots does the luck of the draw every Thursday, and so her stitch pattern, if you want to make a blanket, she gives you a stitch pattern. This is what she does. This is the stitch pattern she does, but you can make anything you want and you can use any pattern you want. So, if you wanted to make a star-shaped blanket, you jump in and you make a star-shaped blanket. But for those of us like me, when my first one, I'm like, well, I don't know what to make. She says, well, this is the pattern I use. So this is the pattern that I'm using. And it's, you start off with a row of half double, and then a row of double crochet, and then a row of half double. Yeah. Then you change, and then every it's this, same pattern the rest of the time. So just on the initial and on the ends, so just the ends of your pattern, you're doing the double crochet row. Other than that, it's a row of half double, a window row with double crochet and a space, and skip one, but the first 3 stitches you do solid.
Oh, to give us some body.
Yeah. And then you go into your windows, and then you do the row of half double crochet, then you change the color and do it again and again and again and again, and that's how you do it. So it's a real simple pattern, but it really turns out nice.
It works up really pretty.
Yeah, it works up really pretty. So with her pattern, you pick 8 colors plus a base color. Mm-hmm. So in my original pattern, I picked gray as my base color, or my original Ruana, and then I picked a variegated yarn that was white and pinks and orange. So that was my inspirational color, because I I needed it. And so then I just picked 7 other colors that matched. And so then you number them 1 through 8, and she goes into her leprechaun hat every week and pulls a number out, and that's the color you use. So you do 3 rows of your base, 3 rows of the color of the week, 3 rows of your base, 3 rows of the color of the week. And that's how you make the blanket if you follow her pattern. So for the first one, I followed her pattern and made my Rwana. I just didn't make it into a blanket. I made it into a Rwana.
Oh.
The second luck of the draw that I did is the one that I made that Christmas blanket with the snowflakes. And I used white for the snowflake as my base color. And then the colors, I used 4 different colors of red and 4 different colors of green as the 7, as the 8 other colors. And that's how I did that one. And this one, I'm doing a shawl, and it's a hexagon pattern, and the base color is white. So the center of all of my hexagons are white, and then it's like a flowery looking shawl. It's by Brianna Kay, and it's called something scrap. I think scrap shawl. I can't remember. It's been it's been like 4 or 5 weeks since I picked it up. It's really quick and easy. And I love to crochet continue as you go, motifs. I love to do those kind of things. But I don't know why every single time on this pattern, if I don't follow the tutorial, I can't get those things together right. It makes no sense to me because I do that put them together as you go thing all the time. And I just have a hard time with this one.
That's funny because I've never done one of those attach as you go. And I keep thinking, I got to figure that out. Hey, Doris, thanks so much for popping in.
Oh, Doris, how you doing?
I've been meaning to say hi to you. I saw you were there.
Lauralee, yeah. It's easy once you get the hang of it. Like the one that in the crochet calendar this month, you just get part of the motif done and add it to the previous motif and then continue on. It's like it's not generally really hard. And if you're doing squares, you're joining, you can like do the granny stitch and just keep making the next square added into it. There's several really good tutorials on how to do it. And the one that I like doing the best with like a granny square kind of thing was from, oh my goodness, she's in Massachusetts and her name is Tracy. Crochet Rossetti.
Oh, I've not heard of that. I've not heard of her.
Oh, she hasn't put out too many videos in like the last maybe 6 months. Crochet. But she's kind of like Gary as far as putting colors together. Oh my God.
Do that.
So talented. Gary from Urban Yarns. If you guys haven't ever seen Gary, you got to jump on him because
he's the bomb. I love his. And then he'll show something of like, oh, I just threw this together. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, he'll pick like
gorgeous.
Ugly colors and put them together, and it's beautiful and like
fabulous.
And it's not really ugly colors, but colors that you would never think would go together, and he makes something fabulous out of them. I'm like, wow. And even when he hand dyed yarn to match the with the Hunger Games books and just such talent. I am, I just love Gary.
Yeah.
But Tracy from Crochet Rossetti, she's really good at putting colors together, and she likes bright colors. So she'll do stuff like she likes to make stuffies, Amy's gnomes and things like that. But she's really good at putting together just some like normal colors and then this pop of something really bright and make it look stunning. And I'm like, oh God, I love that. But she did a tutorial on crochet as you go for granny squares, or, squares at all. And I just go back to hers every time I need a refresher.
You were saying how you have to look at the pattern every time on that one. I'm doing, for my luck of the draw, I am doing hexagons. And I found a pattern, and it's called the Hubby Hexagon Blanket, and I can't think of her name. And I struggle a little bit every time I make one, the way she's got me going to the next row, I just struggle with it every time. And I've kind of just do it my own way that works better for my little brain. And I'm sure I'm just misinterpreting the pattern somehow, but it's the same thing. I have to keep one of the old ones right here next to me as I'm doing the next one and look at every row to see how it's happening. And normally, once it's a 3 or 4 row repeat. I think it's a 3 row repeat. And normally after a couple of times, that's in my head, but not on this pattern. I have to look at it every time.
Well, the shawl is very open weave, so it's lacy, very lacy. And I think I just kind of get lost in the stitches because it's just so lacy. I'm like, which one gets connected?
Right. Right.
And the thing is supposed to be really large and gorgeous. And I mean, the pictures of it are gorgeous. And I can't wait to have it done, but I need to, like, really now I have so many weeks I need to catch up on. I need to just be able to sit down and make them and put them together and be like able to concentrate on what I'm doing. That's why I haven't done it, because I have to concentrate on it. And I can't concentrate on it while I'm still trying to get this tutorial out.
Yeah, that's it. And you need some mindless patterns, and then you need some things where you have to really pay attention, because it's just 2 different parts of your brain that you're using with that. I just want to take a second and let folks know who my guest speaker is next week. I'm very, very excited to be able to say that we've got Seta from Seta's Place is going to join us next week. And
awesome.
The time will be a little different than my regular Tuesday time next week as well. And of course, I cannot remember. I think it is 1 hour different, but I'll have that same kind of reminder on my channel. And I do hope that you folks will pop over to my channel and take a look at 1 or 2 of my videos as well. I super appreciate you guys popping in today. I'm seeing a lot of new names that I assume are Lynette's friends. And so that's great that you guys are taking a moment and coming over and visiting with Lynette and I today. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that Seta is going to be joining us next week. So I have a list here. I tried to make a list of all the projects that you are currently working on. And woman, like I said before, I thought I had a lot of stuff going on. So you've got your Nan's Neck Knot, Luck of the Draw, that you're doing. And that is it's kind of a hexagon. Isn't yours kind of a hexagon looking thing too?
Yeah, it's real open weave.
Okay.
It's real pretty.
And then your Amigurumi Wars. Explain how that works. I'll tell you what. I'm going to be honest here. You start talking about Amigurumi Wars, and I go, oh, I can't do amigurumi. And in fact, when I won that thing from you, I told you just keep the amigurumi pattern because I'm never going to do it. And then I have kicked myself a few times thinking, gosh, that thing was cute. I would have liked to try that.
So I'm going to tell you, Yarn Over Hook, Anita, the one, her patterns are easy to follow. I made my first amigurumi was Rudolph, and I did that with a crochet along kind of thing that Terry from Yard Joy podcast did. I kind of followed her direction, and it turned out okay. I'm like, hey, it worked. He looks like Rudolph. And so then I made Clarice, just changed the colors, and made Clarice, and she turned out okay. Then Anita wanted me to test her second pattern. Her first pattern was the Yeti that I just made, but she wanted me to test a pattern for her. Knowing that I don't know how to read patterns very well, and I've never made an amigurumi without a tutorial. If I can make this, anybody can make it. And I made Jojo Bee, and she's adorable.
She's darling.
And then, then I made Jumping Jacks and Avalanche, and they weren't hard. Anita's pattern, so I don't know if it's just that Anita's patterns are really that simple and easy to follow, or if all amigurumis are that simple and easy to follow. I did make Toothless, the dragon, from a tutorial pattern. I'm from a tutorial, but I had a really hard time with him, but he's black. So I had a hard time seeing the stitches to begin.
Yeah, the black yarns, yeah.
Yeah. I think I would have a much easier time, but that was a tutorial. That wasn't just a written pattern. If I had made the white one, like his girlfriend is white, if I'd have done that, I think I would have had easier time with that one and then been able to make the dragon easier.
Oh,
But it
that
turned
makes
out really cute, and I gave him to my cousin. She had asked me to make her one, so I did, and I struggled with that. So Amigurumi Wars was actually a brainstorm from Mad Mimi's Crochet, Laura from Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming, and she brainstormed it, but she didn't want to run with it. But Anita said, "Oh, let me run with it." So Anita is the main host from YOH, Yarn Over Hook Crochet. And so what happens is the subscribers send in patterns, tutorials, paid for patterns, free patterns, and the host of the month puts them all into hats, and you pick 2 paid for patterns, and then you pick 6 free patterns, and you put them out on a video at the beginning of the month, and anyone that wants to participate has all month, and you get points. 2 points if you make a paid for pattern, 1 point if you make a free pattern, and you send pictures. I had them posted on my Facebook page or emailed to me, and you get points, and the person with the most points at the end of the month wins the prize from that host. Then the person, I think, with the most points at the end of the year wins a prize from all of the hosts throughout the year. So that'll be a really nice prize.
Yeah.
And the person that won my prize this month had 54 points.
Wow.
And she had never made an amigurumi before in her life. And she started with the 7 dwarfs.
Yeah.
And she never made it. And the 7 dwarfs was a paid for pattern. You got all the dwarfs for the one price. And she made them all. And because Anita, and this was her, she's the main host of this. And I'm trying to support her and her channel as the host this month. I said, if you do and she has 4 patterns. If you do any of her patterns, you get 3 points for each one of Anita's patterns. Just to, support her a little.
Sure.
And so Lynn made the 7 dwarfs. She made all 4 of Anita's patterns. She made some, 54 points. The woman was a machine. I'm like, I don't know how you could make that many things in a month, but she was just, and she never had crocheted an ami before in her life. She said, I didn't even think I could do it. And they were all fabulous. If they were full of mistakes, you couldn't tell. They were just adorable. And she just worked her little fingers to the bone.
Wow.
She really did. I was real proud of her.
I guess so. That is amazing.
Yeah, I did. Another person with 46 points. Another person with 36 or 42, I can't remember points. And just crazy. These people are really talented.
Yeah, there's some amazingly talented people out there. I am not one of them. So I said I have no vision. So I can't, there's no way I could design anything because I can't see it. Give me a pattern and I'll figure it out. Don't expect me to pick out colors and don't expect me to make up something on my own. I'm a great recipe follower, and that's about all I could say. So Lisa saying, Lorelai, I agree. Absolutely love how she just pairs yarns together, but I would never think go together and they turn out beautifully. Yeah, there's some people out there.
Hey, Tammy. I'm sorry. I'm just saying hi.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a friend who is an artist, and anytime I'm trying to figure out colors, I'll go, Karen, does this work? Does this work? Does this go together? And I'm surprised she doesn't buy me a color wheel and say, look it up yourself. But I saw the other day a thing, and I didn't believe it, and she kind of agrees with me, and it said that any green color can go together. You can mix any greens. I'm like, And I asked her about that, and she said that's a theory, and that some people go by that, but she finds for the most part, all greens will go together, except some of the real, like the far ends of the spectrum. Maybe, your neon green maybe isn't going to go well with your hunter green. But she said, for the most part, you can mix any green together. And that helped me a lot. I mean, just little things like that helped me a lot because I got nothing. In fact, I can remember in 6th grade, my art teacher had a conference with my mother because I could not mix colors. And she told my mother that I was going to fail in life because I couldn't work a color wheel. Yep. Well, she's right. I can't work a color wheel and I can't mix colors. But I think other than that, I've done pretty okay.
Yeah. What a terrible thing to say.
Yeah.
What if you were colorblind or something?
Right. But no, she had a special meeting with my mother.
Madonna.
And my mom is like, you made me leave work for this? We're out of here. Madonna says green is the best color. And green and orange are colors that I shy away from. And then once in a while I'll go, oh, that's a pretty green. That's a pretty green. But
green is Madonna's favorite color, and orange is Laura's from Mad Mimi's Crochet and Farming. That's her favorite color.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love her too.
Orange. I like all colors. I like happy colors. Pastel colors can be happy. Bright colors can be happy. I just don't necessarily like gray. Gray can be kind of.
I use gray for everything. I tend to pick neutrals. I pick beiges and grays and light browns. And I think, again, it does go back to, I don't know what looks good together. And those colors I know go well. So I'll pick out these 3 shades of gray. I own a ridiculous amount of gray yarn.
I have several different colors of gray.
Mm-hmm. Orange sucks. I actually just ordered some orange yarn. I forced myself to order it because I thought that's really a pretty shade. And I thought to myself, a lot of people like these colors. I'm gonna try it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I like color. I like to have the neutrals for putting my granny squares together, because if my squares are different, then a neutral color is
neutral work with all of it. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I don't generally like to work with black.
Yeah.
A granny square, fine, because you don't really have to see the stitch,
Yeah. Well, and then when you've got a real complex stitch, you don't want the dark colors because you want to be able to see the stitch. That's the whole point of that. Or something, same thing with the variegateds. You don't want those. Those are great for a granny square or something like that, because that's where you get your interest from. But but not. Yeah, I'm real careful with picking out colors and the stitch that I'm doing. Hey, is it Jonah? Jonah's Crochet Journey?
Jonah, hi there.
Thank you so much for joining us. So then you've got Amigurumi Wars.
It's Jonna, actually.
Jonna,
thank you. Jonna. Yes, I know. I've watched. I am subscribed to Jonna, and I have watched her videos, and that's why I know that it's.
I'm gonna have to grab onto hers. Jonna,
So is my picture really blurry on your guys' computers? Because I have my laptop playing, and I got like way pixely or something there for a minute. And do I need to do something to my computer, or is it just because it's raining outside and maybe I can't do anything? I don't know.
It looks good on my tablet.
Okay.
But I'm seeing the same thing. I'm seeing it kind of a little fuzzy on here once in a while. So I think it's this. I think it's StreamYard.
Oh, okay. It could be that it's raining here too. It's coming down pretty good. I don't know. And I'm not real close to my Wi-Fi because I'm on the 3rd floor up here. So I hope that's not a real big problem.
Yeah, no, I think it looks okay. I think it looks okay on there. Oh, well, now Tammy's saying that you're going in and out.
Yeah, I see that.
And Madonna says you're fine.
But that's because Madonna loves me. She would always tell me I'm fine.
That's nice. That's nice. And then you've got your crochet calendar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
how
I
did you
was just picking that up
do that?
after Gina. I'm sorry. Say that
How did
again.
you come to do that?
Well, last year, Dina from Dina's Homespun Fun asked me if I would do a collab with her on that calendar, and she sent it to me and several other people. So I did with it wasn't the Annie's crochet calendar. It was a different one. And she said she wasn't gonna like do that again, like host that collaboration. But I
Mhm.
enjoyed doing the calendar that we did for 2021, and I tried to get that calendar, and they didn't have it. Um, they didn't put it out for 2022. So the only one I could find, like then I went on a hunt and I found the Annies, and so I sent one to her and said, "Hey, I'll send you one this year. Let's do it again." And so that's how that happened. And because like I'm the one running with it now, I have to make something every month. And,
Yeah.
and the flower blanket that was for last month, I mean, that was a time consuming project, and it was
Mhm.
time consuming and I only did like 2 rows to put a curtain on. I'm looking at it to see. Well, I guess it's 2 rows of flowers and a row of squares um, to put up on my window in here. And I wanted to make it kind of hang down like a swag, but it
Mhm.
didn't look right, so I didn't do that. I took them
Mm.
off. I took those off.
That's a
But
really good idea because I know some of us, it's just like all the patterns we collect. You get one of those calendars and you're like, oh, that looks cool. That was cool. And you never make any of them. Or, like you were saying, those flowers are gorgeous, but who's got time to make one of those giant blankets? And
yeah,
so it's great that you have come up with alternatives to, hey, just make a coaster, just make a placemat, just make a whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, that's doable. That's something I can add into my pile of projects. And
right.
so I really like the way that you're running that
Oh,
and
thank you.
giving people.
Not everybody bought the calendar, and I wouldn't expect anyone to buy the calendar. So, just got to do something similar. That's
Mhm. And it's got to be fun. It's got to be fun. It's got to be doable. And you've turned it into that, and that's great. No,
so,
you
and
had
I'm
mentioned.
also the one from this month. If you did the one last month, doing because again, it's a flower motif
Mhm.
for May, to make a
Paper
bag,
towels and Mayflowers, sure.
right? And if you do it, if you followed the one last month, I think doing the one this month will be really easy. You'll pick it up easy because it's like the same idea, different stitch pattern, but same idea.
Hmm.
Um, one of my subscribers she's so gung ho. She's and the bag is gusseted and everything. I'm like,
Oh
oh,
wow.
I don't even know what that means, but I know that means something I'm not doing.
That means I ain't doing it. That's what that means.
Yeah, yeah, that is. I don't even know what that word means. It has something to do with sewing, I think. And
I
nope,
actually know what it means.
oh, it is sewing, right?
It is. Well, when you buy a blouse, like a lady's blouse, and it's got that little thing right here for the ladies to have room, that's a
Oh,
gusset.
okay.
Yep,
Oh,
they've sewn
well,
that in.
the
It's kind
purse.
of a tuck that you sew in.
Okay, well,
So,
the purse has that.
mhm.
I'm like, yeah, no, no.
Not happening.
If
Hey,
if I
Bella,
have,
thanks for
if I
popping
have
in.
to look up the definition to it, I don't want to
Exactly.
do that.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
yeah. So that's why and I haven't looked at what next month is. I gotta get through this one first.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm doing
Oh,
that.
Janine, I know. She said she wanted to do that, but the calendar cost twice as much to ship as the calendar cost. So
Really? I got
she's in,
I think I paid like $15 total for the
well,
camp.
I want to
No.
say she is in Australia, Africa. Where are you, Janine? I know you're not in the US. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
think you're in Canada.
Can you get it because it's digital too? Someone
Oh,
I
you
can't
are in
remember.
Canada. Okay.
Someone just told me that they download like 6.95 for the digital download, I think.
And I think I saw that option too when I was looking to buy it last year. But at that point where I was, I didn't, it's real tricky for me to print when we were on the oil field. So I ended up just not doing it because it was the same thing. I looked at the count. I thought, I am never actually going to make any of these. And then you started doing that and I could have. I absolutely could have.
Well,
But next
somebody
year.
recently just downloaded it. I know that for sure. I can't remember who it was, but maybe
That,
somebody in Zoom. I don't remember.
yeah.
I don't
So maybe
recall it.
that's something you can look into, Deneen. If it's in the $6-7 range, that's better than even the regular price for the print one. That is nice.
Yeah.
So I heard you mention something that you're doing with Jada. Is it Jada and Stitches?
Yeah, Jada and Stitches is doing a Tunisian. It's supposed to be a blanket, but it's learn how to crochet Tunisian. And I've wanted to learn how to do that. And I bought Tunisians real cheap for like,
The
I don't know,
hooks.
under $15. You got a complete set of
Oh.
the hooks with cables and a
Mhm.
complete set of hooks with that didn't have cables,
Mhm.
that just have the hard stopper at
Right.
the end, but they're still real long. I think she calls them Afghan hooks.
Mhm.
And I got them off Amazon, and they were, I want to say like around 15, 16, under $20 for sure.
Mhm.
And I probably have 20 hooks. And I tried doing I think a washcloth from a YouTube tutorial, and it was, and then Jada was doing this, and I thought, I'm going to try it, but I know I'm not making the blanket. We talked about
Right.
there's
The
no way they're
square
going to
doesn't
fit. I'm
count.
not doing that. Yeah. So I just to practice and learn the stitches, I'm just making like a washcloth, or the one project was real thick. So I use that as a trivet, you know,
Oh yeah. Nice.
so the last stitch, and I looked this morning, she hasn't put one out yet for May. And I take that because I'm doing washcloth, so I'm using just the little balls of cotton yarn,
Mhm.
and I have a little project bag, and I take it to work, and I work on it on my breaks and before work.
Yeah.
And that's when I've done most of the crocheting on all of those is at work. But the stitch that was last month was the honeycomb stitch, and I really like the look of that stitch, and I really and truly want to make a sweater out of that stitch.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I guess the only thing I've ever done in Tunisian is the basic Tunisian stitch, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Last year I did a blanket. I made squares, and I had 180 squares, and then I had to put borders on them and sew them all together because I bordered each individual square, and then because my blanket looked like a crossword puzzle. So each square had to look like a square in a puzzle. And then
How cool.
it was awesome. And then I put my grandkids, my daughter, her family, and the kids' names all as like a crossword.
Oh, how awesome is that?
And I can't show it to anybody because my daughter is, again, remember I told you she won't let the kids do the computery stuff. And so she would not appreciate me having their names visible to the whole, to the few people that pop in and look at my stuff. So I've got this gorgeous blanket that I can't show to anybody. But they're
doing the Tunisian with Jada. Oh, it's coming out the first Friday of the month. I thought that might be the case. I couldn't remember. That's what she did with the Mile a Minute too. I think it was the first Friday of the month she came out with that. Which I didn't finish that one. I'm sorry to say. That was last year's.
Well, I figure even if we don't finish some of these projects, we're still learning something and we're still enjoying the process. And if we don't enjoy the process with as much time and work as involved in these, then why bother? So even if we don't finish them, we're still having fun. We're still keeping our mind sharp because we're learning something new. And sometimes what we learn is we don't like doing this and we move on to something else. So nothing wrong with that.
I just ran out of time for it because my stepdad was getting sick and I had to take care of him and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that went by the wayside because I was having each month was a different stitch and I was having some of those problems of it not meet engaged. So
yeah.
I chucked to that one and I frogged it.
Then you're also very involved with the Wings program.
No, I'm not very involved. I just helped Rose last year. She came to me and asked me. This year, she did not ask me. I volunteered. She said, "Well, I asked you to do that last year." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but I really enjoyed it. Um, and it's, a really good cause." And they gave me a good reason to go meet her. And I think my subscribers were enjoying, participating.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I said, the yarn community is so generous.
Yeah.
I think I had like 500 washcloths sent in.
Wow.
And my husband drives an expedition, and the back of his truck was full of boxes.
Wow.
And I, drove it and met with her, and we had a really nice time. And I want to meet with her again this summer. And then I also will take, if people send to me the crochets, hats and scarves or hats and cowls for September for wings.
So go ahead and explain what it is. It's because you're using a certain pattern. What are you doing? You're doing something, and now I can't remember because you're making a set every month.
So I'm making 2 sets a month. I also am doing the crochet along with Judy from Witch Piece Craft.
Yes.
She does the album covers on the 1st and the 15th of the month. So I had originally said, I'll participate in Judy's thing. I really like Judy. I like her channel. So I'll participate with her. I did last year, her crochet along. So I was going to make squares and make a blanket. I hated it. I didn't like the way it was turning out. So I decided I would do, when I volunteered to do this with Rose, I said, I'll use Judy's colors to make the hat and scarf twice a month. And I wanted to do that on my Centra. Well, that's not working out so well for me. So I'm still going to do the hats and scarves based on Judy's. And then I'm going to donate them to Rose for wings in September. After September, I plan on still doing the hats and scarves, but I'll just donate them locally here.
Okay. And so then what you're offering is, from my understanding, is anybody that wants to make a hat and scarf or a hat and cowl. Is that correct?
Right. They can do a hat and scarf or hat and cowl, but it's the set. You have to make the set. If you want to send them to me, I will get them to Rose, and you can start sending them to me like right now. And I'll keep a list, just like I did last time, of everyone that sends anything in, and you'll go into a drawing and there will be a prize. I haven't determined what that prize is going to be yet, but there will be a prize.
Hat and scarf set.
Hat and scarf set? No, that will be
What's your prize?
Or you can wait. I think Rose is accepting them in September, or maybe it's August. I really have to find out for sure. You can send them right to her if you want to be involved. I'm not going to ask her to keep track of who sent them to her. So if you want to be involved in the prize that I'll give away, you have to send them to me. And my PO box is in the description box of all of my videos. So.
And I do have, I've got Lynette's link, if I did it right, in the description box down below here.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think I only put your YouTube link.
Okay.
You don't have like what other links do you have? Do you have a web page or any of that kind of stuff?
I have a Facebook group page.
Okay.
And that's in the description box of my videos too. So if you click over to my video, all my contact stuff is there. I do have a TikTok. That granddaughter just said, "Grammy, how come you never post on TikTok?" I said, "I don't know how to do that. I just learned how to open TikTok."
Yeah.
So she had me. I did. And I have an Instagram, but I never use that. I don't know how to use that either.
I cannot figure out Instagram. I've got 4 or 5 pictures on there. I don't know how I got them on there. I don't know how to. People will they'll say, "Go into my Instagram and do that," and I'm like, "Oh, I guess I'm not doing that because."
Well, I pretty much told Ariana I'm going to have to hire her to be my social media expert.
That's
So she says, "Well, Grammy, all you got to do is this and this and this." And I said, "I'll tell you what, Ariana, you can do all of this and this and this. Every time I see you, I'll say, 'Here's my phone. Put that stuff on there.'" She's, "Oh, okay." I'm like,
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of pictures on TikTok. And I guess there's like a lot of crochet stuff going on TikTok. I was really
Yes.
surprised. But so I made her a pickle. She wanted a pickle,
Mm-hmm.
and the picture of the pickle came from TikTok. She's like scrolling through. Oh, Grammy, I need you to make me this. And I'm like, you want a pickle? And she's like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, okay. So Dollar Tree yarn because I
Mm-hmm.
was on vacation and I didn't bring green with me.
Green, yeah.
And the only green they had was that chenille. So she got a mint chenille pickle with red eyes, and she's thrilled as to be. That was all they had at the Dollar Tree was in green was that color. So she was happy as a clam. She just loved that thing. She was taking pictures of it and okay, whatever. But
Yep.
she got that picture off of TikTok, make me this. So I did.
That's wonderful.
And
That
she
is
put some
wonderful.
pictures on there. So, but I don't even think I have that linked because I don't even know how to.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. So that's another thing for Ari. Ari, figure out what the link is and how I can put
Yes.
that in.
And Ari, you need to make up some business cards because I know some other old ladies that need your help.
Right? Yep. I know the feeling.
Hey,
Yep.
Maribel, thanks for popping in. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see you. Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh, we have been visiting for over an hour and a half. Can you believe that?
Oh my gosh.
And
My
that's
husband's
what
probably
always happens
starving
when
to death.
ladies get together. We can just talk and talk, and I love it. I love it. But I think we probably should maybe think about wrapping it up. And Lynette, you're going to have to come on again because I've got a million questions I didn't get to ask you. Just going through your list of projects took up a lot of time.
Well, I chatter.
Oh,
That's
you
why
and
it's
me
called
both.
Charmed Chatter because I
That's
chatter.
right. That is right. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys all so very much for joining us today. And you know what I can do? Chatter for a minute, Lynette. I'm going to look at something.
Oh, okay. You look away. I did get a lot of crochet done on this. A
Good.
couple of rows during this little. So that's, like I said, I think I had. It's going to be a total of 42 different sections of color, and I got a lot of them done.
I'm just so excited about that because you're putting pockets in it. It's just, and again, you tell me, you say, oh, I'm going to put pockets of this. And my mind goes, you can do that? How do you do things like that? And that's why I like Rwanas because it's basically a blanket that you wrap around yourself. But then I see all these extra things and I get really excited.
So there's a couple of tips. First of all, when I do my Rwana, it's 186 stitches is the length of mine. I mean, you make yours any length you want, but the length is 186 stitches. And because I don't want to count 186 stitches all the time, I put a stitch marker at the end of every single row.
Yep.
And then I don't have to count. And that's like my biggest tip for myself. I don't know if everybody has to do that, but I have to do that.
Otherwise it grows at the end or gets smaller at the end.
Right. So I don't miss a stitch. I do that. Mm-hmm. And I forgot to put it in there because I was chattering. To put a pocket in on some, because this is easy because the pocket goes in with the pattern. So when you put the pocket, you just chain and skip. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Because the pattern goes vertical and the pocket's going to go vertical.
Oh.
So we can just, that's how the pocket is made. You make the hole in the vertical. Let's see if I can find the one on this side. Okay. It's so big. All right. So so it's just in between the rolls.
Yeah.
And then we'll just go back and single or half double crochet or whatever you like.
The same
circle, number and then sew it together at the end. That's how you do the pocket.
Wow.
Really easy. I just watched Billy, and I know you want to wrap this up, but I just watched Billy, the Crafty Floridian. She's designing, I think she's designing her own sweater, but she's making a sweater anyway. And she just went over how you do a raglan, which I never knew what the heck that even meant. But she just went over in her video how you do this raglan thing. And, you do it until you have to watch the video. I'm like, I could do that. That's so easy.
Yeah, that scares me too.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to make that honeycomb
The
Tunisian.
honeycomb stitch. Oh, in a
Well,
raglan.
well, I wouldn't do the top part,
Right. Do
the
that
raglan
in
part.
basic stitch and then from
And
like the middle down in a rag. That would be gorgeous.
yeah, I'm like,
Here you are
that's all you
designing
gotta do.
things.
I know. I'm like, that's all you gotta do. I'm like, I'm saving that video.
You know, I heard something the other day, and I don't know who said it. I don't know where I heard it. I think it was on a live something, and I was kind of half listening while I was doing stuff. And they said not to say anything against Bag a Day, because thank God for her, or most of us wouldn't know a lot of things that we know, or
Right.
would never have tried a lot of things. Like I made my first sweater from one of her patterns. And they said, but if all you do is follow her patterns, you're never going to learn more advanced things. And I mean, she's right there telling you her stuff is easy. It's fast and easy. That's her niche. And her patterns are great. And that's where they're for. But just like this, you're never going to learn how to do a raglan if you only do her stuff. And you're never going to learn how to add pockets to something if you only do her stuff, because that's not her niche. So we do have to branch out and try things from other designers so that we learn how to do some of these other things.
But she does that same procedure on all of her baby dresses. That
the raglan.
Mm-hmm. I think so, because when Billy was explaining it and showing it, I've made some of her baby dresses, and I'm like, that's, and I never knew that was called raglan.
That's what you were doing.
Yeah, and I didn't know the mechanics of it. She says crochet 12, and so you crochet 12. Chain 2. Okay.
Right. Well, it's just like when you were mentioning that pocket, I'm like, oh, that was the same as when I made the neckline on the sweater. You get to that point, you do a chain, and then you go back and you work across the chain.
Yep.
So it scares me. All those little things scare me. And then as I learn each one individually, then I'm not scared anymore.
Right. Well, and if you know what, this is my theory on most everything crochet. It's yarn, and it's supposed to be fun and relaxing. If it's not, you need to pick a different project.
Right.
And the really, really nice thing about it is if you screw it up, all you got to do is pull it out.
Tear it up. Do it again. I was telling Lynette, I think before we really went live, those of you who are on now, we were chatting away for a while, and I hadn't pushed the go live button. So probably about the first 5 minutes, it was just me and her chatting. But I was telling her that the project I'm working on right now is a half double crochet. And I was working away, and I'm like, something's not right. And I had to go to YouTube and find some place that showed me how to do a half double crochet, which couldn't be any easier. And yet I managed to mess it up. I was doing something completely different. So, but if I
make your own stitch, you just have to remember what that is and try it.
I remember, and it was kind of cool.
See, made your own
stitch. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate you saying hi. So
hey, now Mirabelle. Okay.
We really are getting in now, because I know that hi Tank. I really know that Granny Anna, I didn't see you earlier. Gosh, there are so many of you in here today. Thank you guys so much for popping in. I really appreciate it. I know you guys have a lot to do, and I know that your YouTube time is precious, and I am just ever so thankful that you guys chose to spend your time with us today. And Lynette, it's been an absolute joy visiting with you.
And with you.
Thank you. And I can't wait to see you again on one of the Zooms. I hope I can get in there and catch you. And
I've been there for a bit.
Doris. And
Doris is great.
She's fabulous. There's a lot of good instructors on YouTube. There's some not so good instructors. And I got to tell you, I found somebody one time it was their first tutorial, and I was completely lost during the whole thing. And so in the comments, I said, hey, just letting you know, I'm a fairly new crocheter, and not that I'm new, but my level is very beginning. And I said, I just want to let you know, these were a couple of things that I had problems following you in your tutorial. And one, it was he was using black yarn.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
yeah, not in a tutorial.
Right.
And the other thing was you couldn't see his stitches because of his hand placement. And I just mentioned those things. And I says, I think that might help some other people. And his response to me was, well, nobody else is having problems. Maybe it's you. Okay, well, you're right. It obviously was me. And the reality is everybody teaches differently and everybody learns differently. So if you can't figure something out from one YouTube instructor, go find somebody else, because I can guarantee there's 1,000 different people showing you how to do the same thing.
Yep.
And sometimes it just clicks.
Right.
Teaching style is different, just like people's learning style is different. And I have, and again, Doris is one of those that I watch hers. I'm like, oh, that's what you're doing. So go find a new project and figure out how to do something new. It's just, it has joy. Yeah. Yeah. And then here you are designing patterns and doing tutorials. And you never thought
trying to do the tutorials aren't always great. I'm going to tell you that right now, because, I'm really new at tutorials. So I think this one is better than the one I did for that one, for this blanket back here. That tutorial, not so good. I think my bowl cozy tutorial was okay because it wasn't like, that's an easy, just, increase in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope this one, I even wrote the row counts, or, what row you're working on, because my granddaughter taught me how to do that.
Yeah. And when I'm doing a pattern, I want to know how many stitches should I have at the end of this row. And it's every time I mess up and I don't have that information, I don't know where I've gone wrong, so I can fix it. So that's something that's important to me when I'm doing.
I like to know row counts too, or stitch counts.
Row counts, and I need to know stitch counts.
This one, I didn't put the stitch count on each row because the stitch counts are the same. But
you mentioned that at the beginning. You should have this many stitches, or it's a multiple of this and this to make it bigger or smaller. Even that some people won't do. And
but I was real proud of myself that I marked each section, it's this row to this row. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, look, I know how to do this now. That's got to be more helpful. Particularly if you have to go back.
The other thing that I'm finding helpful, and hardly anybody does it, and I don't know if because it's not easy to do, which could be the case since I don't do those things. I don't know. You'll do a video and it'll say, they put oh gosh, what do they call it? Like a space thing. So you can click on that and it takes you to that part of the video.
Oh, the cards. I think those are cards.
No, it's not cards. It's like it'll say a timestamp. It's a timestamp. So it'll be like at 2:04, we're working on this. At 7:14, I'm showing you how to do the pocket. And so that when I'm going back to a video, I don't have to try to watch the whole thing to figure out where I was at. And so I love timestamps on videos too, but that's, I don't know.
I hope to, but I don't know if it will on this tutorial to at least put in I don't know if it'll click it and go there, but I plan on putting, row 1 starts here, row 2 starts here. But the way they, when I put it together, we'll see how it works out. I don't know. I was just real happy that I could put in into the video, row 2 through 45 or this, this is that section. At least you can go back and look for that. But I did want to write down like where that section starts, but I don't know how you make that clickable, so it probably won't be.
I don't know, but it's timestamps. And then I have seen a couple videos where it'll say, I've got the timestamps below, and then there's no timestamps below. So it's like either they couldn't figure it out or they thought they put it in and it didn't work, which trust me, I've done that before too.
Oh, sure.
So, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, thank you guys ever so much. And I did look up the time of next week's video. Today's video started, I want to say noon Pacific. So next week's is going to be 11 Pacific. Seta is in Alaska, so she is an hour earlier than me. And so it's 10 o'clock her time, 11 o'clock my time. Are you Eastern?
I'm Eastern.
You're Eastern. So that's 3 hours later than me. So it's going to be 2 o'clock your time, I think.
It was 3 o'clock my time when we started this video. So
yeah, it's almost 2 right now. So it's probably almost 5 for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yep. So it'll be 2 o'clock your time, your guys' time. So next week with Seta, and that ought to be enjoyable. And I think we're both talkers as well, so it could be another one that runs a little more on the long side. As long as we're all having fun, who cares, right?
Right.
You are right. All righty. So thank you so much for everybody for joining us today. Please, I'm sure you guys all already are subscribed to Lynette, but if not, make sure you pop over and subscribe to her. And I would really appreciate it if you enjoyed today's video, if you would like to subscribe to me. I am sneaking up on that 1,000 mark. And of course, there'll be a big party and giveaway when we hit that. So stay tuned for that. And I've got some big news.
You're doing really well.
Oh, thank you so much. I've got some big news coming up here in a couple of weeks. We're not ready to share, but it's going to be fun when we do. So,
oh, yay.
We'll say goodbye to everybody for right now, and we'll see you in a few days. Bye-bye.
Okay. See ya. Bye.